Good morning everybody, good morning, it's JPR and welcome back to another video. I feel like sometimes we sit around too much and talk about what's wrong with Pokemon rather than what's right sometimes, and there's a good reason for that. It gets more clicks. But, you know, feeble internet clout aside, let's discuss the best aspects that every Pokemon region has to offer. For Kanto, what I've always admired the most about this region is simply in how it's laid out. For a mostly linear story, the Kanto region feels so interconnected and easy to travel. I'm gonna look past that one random ledge outside of Mount Moon that completely prevents you from returning to the beginning of the game for a minute though. That wasn't very fun. But that aside, Kanto feels like one giant puzzle where you have to fit all of the pieces together to fully progress through it. Once you get out of Vermilion City, it's like, oh, there's a Snorlax sleeping here, I guess I need to find a way to wake it up. So you route yourself through Rock Tunnel and then Lavender Town, and then you hear about the Pokeflute, which can wake slumbering Pokemon, but then you need to go to Celadon City and beat Team Rocket so you can reach the top of Pokemon Tower. And I don't know, but there's something about Kanto's progression that feels uniquely satisfying to me. All of these things are just kind of tied together even though there's no grand overarching plot to do so. This feels much more like you gotta actually figure out how to progress rather than just being fed a story. And because of that, I feel like it makes Kanto more replayable than most people give it credit for. Not Gen 1, I will not endorse replaying those games on a regular basis, and really not even Let's Go if I'm being honest, the forced Pokemon catching kind of drags it down on replay. But Fire Red and Leaf Green, yeah, I'll play those as many times as I can. Kanto just has this nice feeling of not only being forced to interact with every corner of the world, but also the world being satisfyingly compact so you can go wherever in a short amount of time. Moving right next door though, what I appreciate most about Johto is how this region established the Pokemon world's lore. Kanto kinda drip-fed lore to us through Pokedex entries and the Mewtwo journals, but Johto was the first region to really establish that this world had a rich history. And that history is still very much alive in this region. Ecruteak City, based on Kyoto for example, with the two towers and the lore surrounding Ho-Oh and the Beasts, is still one of my favorite settings in all of Pokemon. This is also the only region where we really get to see some of that distinct old Japanese type of architecture, especially in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I feel like that added flavor makes it stand out among some of the other regions. I know Johto does catch a lot of flack for its route designs and mostly just being grassy fields with not much variety, but think of the cities, man! These cities are so distinct and memorable. They are nothing like Kanto cities, which are all modern and boring looking. Seriously, compare Saffron City to like literally any Johto city. In a way, it kind of reflects real-life Japan, where the western side is still very agricultural and historic, while Tokyo is just kind of swallowing up the east. I will defend Johto's aesthetics until the day I die. Say what you will about the rest of Gen 2, but I'm hanging on to this one. This is the most comfortable region to me. But moving down south to Hoenn, this is a pretty easy one, because no region executes its puzzles and mysteries quite as well as Hoenn does. This was mostly why I placed Hoenn at number 1 in my video about which region treats legendaries the best. The Regiquest is iconic, there's nothing else like it in Pokemon. And that's really just the surface. Hoenn affords you so many opportunities to go off the beaten path and just discover something cool. Whether that's exploring an abandoned ship for treasure, diving under the sea to find an ancient cavern where legendary Pokemon sleep, getting into New Mauville to shut down the machine, navigating the route with all the fast water currents, doing the trick house for crying out loud. It feels like nearly every route has some sort of little secret to uncover. Why do you think this was the region that introduced secret bases? Sometimes it was just a reward to venture out into the grass and find a cooler base than your friends. And even if you completely disregard all of that, these are still the best designed routes in all of Pokemon. Maybe not the water ones, those definitely needed some work. Maybe Team Magma was right, I feel like I'm being radicalized by Hoenn's region design. As for Sinnoh, this is the first region where the topic is not going to be strictly geographical, because my favorite part of Sinnoh is all the extra features it has to offer. I guarantee you the first thing that came to your mind with Sinnoh was the underground. It's like having a second region to explore, but this one you can explore with your friends. If you have any. BDSP definitely made me mad though by taking out the traps and capture the flag and decorating with anything other than statues. I think the underground did lose some of its charm that it had in Gen 4, but hey, we got wild Pokemon, so it wasn't all bad. There's also the super contests and cooking the poffins and that weird Wi-Fi plaza thing from Platinum. I didn't use that enough to really remember what it was about, but it sure looked cool. Of course, Gen 4 was the first gen to introduce Wi-Fi play, so naturally they really capitalize on these features that let you play with your friends. And heck, even if you were just doing these things by yourself, they were still fun. Like, you don't need a friend to go digging for treasure in the underground, it's just an option. Moving on to Unova, am I allowed to roll like 3 together here? Okay, how about 2? Does that sound better? I'm gonna give Unova the reward for best story and music. And hey, I know, music is incredibly subjective. This is probably going to be the most contested point of the entire video. But Unova's soundtrack and just general sound design absolutely slaps. Every move sounds like it has an impact. Every route or city theme is catchy. The battle music does not miss in any department. In fact, many battle themes from this region reuse familiar motifs from previous games to give you the sense that even though Unova is far away, it's still the same Pokemon world. I love just seeking out the musicians in every city and adding their instruments to the background music, or revisiting a route after the season has changed, or waiting for a gym leader to send in their last Pokemon. You don't have to agree with me that the music is the absolute best, but I think everyone can recognize that there's an extra level of effort that went into it here. And it makes every area of the game feel like it has more soul. It's one of the many reasons why Unova feels so much more lively than other regions. Because the soundtrack is not entirely static. Anyway, what was that other thing I mentioned? Oh yeah, story. Anyway, and it's cool. Hey, it's me. Are you enjoying the video? Good, then you should definitely subscribe. That would be awesome. The best part of the Kalos region? The immaculate drip. First of all, there was no better place trainer customization could have been introduced. It was so absurdly fitting that Masada originally considered making it exclusive to Kalos. And although that ended up not being the case, Kalos is still unmatched when it comes to the fits you can buy here. I love that there's this secret society that won't even let you inside their store unless you maximize your style points, which is a completely hidden system embedded in the games that goes up depending on the activities you complete. You can completely cheese it by just buying and selling a bunch of Premier Balls at the Pokeball Emporium though, so it's not foolproof. Oh, and you thought I was just talking about the protagonists. Heck no! Kalos has the cleanest trainer class designs you've ever seen. When I think of any trainer class, if that class was an X and Y, then that's the design that comes to my mind first. Same goes for the gym leaders in Elite Four as well. These guys said it's drip or drown, and you better learn how to swim. Except Wolfric. Why does he look like this? And hey, drip does not merely end at clothes. We got haircuts, roller skates, the first iterations of ride Pokemon, sky battles. Okay, maybe we didn't need that one. But you honestly feel stylish partaking in any number of activities around this region. As for the Alola region, it's gotta be the culture. I love how they weren't afraid to make Alola feel as unique as possible. There's no gyms, instead you fight these oversized wild Pokemon that have been ruling on these islands for decades. There's not even a Pokemon League, or at least I should say there wasn't a Pokemon League. For the longest time it was just like, hey, you won all your trials, let's just throw you a big party. Is it the same old Pokemon formula at the end of the day? Yeah, it is. But there's just enough of that unique Hawaiian feeling here between the trials and Mantine surfing and whatever else. It all feels distinctly Alolan. No other region has an identity as strong as this one does. Now, the Galar region is very easy. It's the thing it emphasizes the most, the gym challenge. For years now, I've felt my attitude towards gyms souring a bit. For 6 generations, and, well, kinda 7, trials weren't that different if we're being honest, gyms have stayed almost exactly the same. So to tie in the UK's massive football culture into Galar's identity with these larger-than-life gym battles was more than a welcome change. Gyms in Galar are a true spectacle thanks to Dynamax, and as a whole, the gym storyline feels a lot more compelling here than any other. Maybe it's because it's the only storyline Sword and Shield has going for it, that could be part of it. But this single storyline gave us Leon, the unbeatable champion, Hop, the younger brother in his shadow, Marnie and Bede, who are great in their own rights, and a proper tournament-style Pokemon League that sorta mimics the anime. I don't think it's perfectly executed by any means, the gyms are still kinda easy relative to most regions. And I do wish the final bracket at the league was truly random instead of it being a set path through Nessa, Bee, or Alistair, and then Raihan. Imagine not knowing who you would fight every time you replay the game. That could have made this league so much cooler. But I still think what we got was really neat, and I feel confident in saying this gym challenge won't be getting topped anytime soon. And lastly, what does Paldea do best? Well, it's not the inside of buildings, I can tell you that much. But you probably already know. The freedom. As Pokemon's first truly open-world region, I appreciate how as soon as the unnecessarily long tutorial is over, Game Freak finally takes their hand off the wheel and lets you go wherever you please. You want to get curb stomped by a level 45 Great Tusk out in the middle of some desert? Be my guest. Again, like Galar, I don't think the open world is perfectly executed here, but I do appreciate them just pulling the trigger and finally doing it. It makes everyone's experience feel a bit more unique since there's not just one path to follow. It always felt like Pokemon was destined to end up here at some point, and it feels good knowing that we've finally arrived. Hopefully, future regions pull this particular aspect off even better. But hey, tell me down below, what's your favorite part of every region? But don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more videos just like this one. I'll see you guys next time.